Welcome to the Profitpreneur Power Play Podcast, your daily dose of strategies, insights, and action steps to grow your business and build your freedom. It's time to stop playing small and start making power plays.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the Profitpreneur Power Play Podcast. I am your host, Valerie Walton, and I'm really excited to be here with you today because today's guest is here to give you a reality check in the kindest, most practical way possible. Dr. Bob, that's who's on today. Dr. Bob Clark has spent over 30 years running IVF labs, helping create more than 30,000 babies, all while building his online business on the side. So he became a six-figure earner in both healthcare and online marketing and retired from healthcare years ahead of schedule. So now, as founder of the Part-Time Prosperity Tribe, he helps entrepreneurs reach their freedom goals without the guilt, burnout, or the overwhelm. And today, he's calling out one of the biggest misconceptions in entrepreneurship, which is lazy versus unfocused. So he says, you're not lazy, you're unfocused. So in this episode, Dr. Bob is going to show you how to fix this so that you can stop beating yourself up and finally start building momentum again. So without further ado, let me bring out Bob. Hello, hello.
Hey, Val, what's going on? How's it going?
Oh, I'm just excited to hear what you have to say today.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite topics. So
yeah,
I'm excited too.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to leave you to it.
All right. Hey, guys, what is going on today? Glad to be back with you again. Happy to see everybody. And this is one of my favorite topics. Like I just said to Val, this focus is one of my favorite topics because I think it's one of the most misunderstood. And I'm going to give you my best tips today for being more focused in your business and for getting results in whatever time you have. But I'm going to start with a story. A couple of years ago, I was helping a client build his MLM business. And we were working a little bit. We just got started. And he came into one session. I could see he was really frustrated, almost to the point of tears. And I asked him what was up. And he said that his upline called him right before we got on and kind of, bashed him over the head, calling him lazy, that he wasn't building his team. And he said, he was just frustrated. And he said, look, I start and stop a lot. I know I get distracted easily. I got a billion things on my to-do list. I'm like, we got to fix that, right? And he said, I just have like minutes a day or maybe an hour a day to work on this business. And, to get called lazy is really frustrating because I'm doing the best I can. So, a lot of what I'm going to talk to you about today, is what I said to him. Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man? Here's the thing. This guy, he's not lazy. He was really not lazy. I mean, he was trying his best, but he was overloaded doing things that really didn't matter. And he wasn't clear about what to focus on to get results. And the result when that happens is paralysis, right? You stop moving because you don't know what to do. You don't know really why you're doing it. And what you resort to is busy work. And that's an attempt to make yourself feel less lazy. And so I'm going to tell you right now, yours is not a laziness problem. If you were lazy, you wouldn't have started your business in the first place, right? Right? You wouldn't have started in the first place. So I have not run into a single person yet online that I thought was lazy. I've run into several, many, most maybe, that have a focus problem. So what I want to do with the rest of today is I want to give you 8 of my best focus tips. And some of these you may have heard, some are going to be new to you. But for the ones you've heard, I want you to try to resist the urge to say, I know that, and just dismiss it. Because you may have heard something, but are you doing it? Right? Are you implementing that into your business, into your focus plan? Because most people hear stuff and they kind of just disregard it. And sometimes it's because it's too easy. And sometimes because they feel like they know that already. And whatever it is, try to resist that urge as I go through these 8 focus tips to think, I got that one. I got that one, because unless you're actually doing it, you don't got it, right? You don't. So here's my 8 best focus tips. And like I said, some of them you've heard, some of these you haven't heard before, because I don't really talk about some of these that much, but I want to give you the best that I got today. So number 1 is start with a profit-driven priority. Okay, what does that mean? Start with a profit-driven priority. Here's the thing. If you don't know what matters most in your business, no focus hack that I give you is going to help you. So we got to start with this one. Here's what you need to ask yourself daily. What can I do today that directly will drive income or audience growth in my business? Which tasks that I have on my probably long to-do list, right? Which tasks will drive income or have the potential to drive income or audience growth? And here's the thing, it may not be on your to-do lists, right? Because a lot of people don't think like that, right? Maybe you've heard the term income producing activities. I use the term most impactful activities. And I've talked about that before in my podcast episodes. I talk about it a lot because I think it's the thing that holds people back, especially when you're short on time. That you're spending your time working on things that don't really move the needle. So first of all, identify what those things are that move the needle most on your business, and then prioritize them. And when you got an hour, spend the first 30 minutes on that activity, right? Always do it first. If you have 10 minutes, work on that. Whatever time you have, work on that. Because if you don't get that done, the rest is fluff, right? It doesn't really matter. So that's number 1. Number 2 is decide tomorrow, tonight. I'm a big fan of this. I think not only does it help you set up your tomorrow for success, but I think you sleep better because you get it out of your brain onto a paper or whatever, right? So yeah, we had a little tech glitch there, but I think we're good, Val. I think we're all good. So before I go to bed every night, I got a pad of paper next to my bed, or I do it on my computer before I turn it off for the night. And I write down what's the top 2 to 3 things I want to do the next day that will matter most in my business. And if you got a to-do list for other stuff, non-business related, write that down too. Right? Just don't try to make it like 20 things, because come on, you're not going to do that. But write down what you're going to do tomorrow. Write it down the night before. And it may seem like a stupid, simple little thing to do, but I'm telling you, if you're not doing that, it really matters, because here's the thing. You don't want to sit down at your computer after you finally get time, right? You worked your job, or you're taking care of the kids, and you've done all this stuff during your day, and you finally get time for your business, and you sit down. And if the first thought you have is, what should I do today? You've already lost. You've already lost it, because it takes energy, mental energy, to sit there and plan out what you're going to do. Do that stuff the night before. And now when you sit down at your computer today, you got a list, you're set to go, and you don't have to spend time thinking about it. It's a huge one. All right, so that's number 2, decide tomorrow, tonight. Number 3, use what I call time pockets and not time blocks. And the reason I say that, time blocks are great. Okay? Blocks of 2 to 3 hours are great, but most people are super busy and don't have them, or they have them and then they get canceled out by doing something else. So, you don't want to get in a situation where you plan to work your business, 2 hours on a Saturday, and then Saturday rolls around and your whole family calendar flips, and people all of a sudden they have all these things you got to do, and that time block gets wiped out, and now you have no time for your business. What I've found is to use what I call time pockets, which are these little 10 to 30 minute times in your day right? Little time pockets in your day that you're probably not using for anything productive. Those are the times that I use for business. Okay. And it may not sound like a lot, but if let's say you got 15 minutes here and there during your day, well, 4 15-minute time pockets is an hour. That's an hour on your business. And I wrote on social media yesterday, most people underestimate what they can do in 30 minutes for their business. And that's really true. They kind of poo-poo it, it's only 30 minutes. I'll go just, scroll TikTok while I'm waiting for this or that. If you take your time to plan out what you would do in 15 minutes, when you get it, you're going to be way more productive and way more focused. Okay, number 4, stop multitasking. Stop multitasking. To me, multitasking is the silent productivity killer. And there are times where it makes sense, and there are times when I do multitask. For example, when I was working, I would listen to podcasts while driving to work. That's multitasking, right? But I knew that route so well. I'd done it for 30 years. I didn't have to think about it driving. Sometimes you ever have that thing where you drive somewhere and you don't remember how you got there, right? This means that you've done it so many times. And so I would multitask that way, but that was about it, because it's been actually shown that your brain spends up to 40% of its energy reorienting every time you switch tasks. So if you're going from one task to another back and forth, that's a lot of brain energy to devote to the switch. My suggestion is do one thing at a time. I think it'll really benefit you more. Number 5, and I get some pushback on that. I know some of you guys are big multitaskers, but just the fact that you spend all this brain energy switching tasks, that should be enough to kind of say, hey, maybe I ought to pull back on that. Number 5, create a focus trigger routine. Now, you probably haven't heard this before. Your brain loves cues. Your brain loves habits. Your brain loves routine. So if you can find a routine that works for you in terms of productivity, it's going to boost your focus like exponentially. So what am I talking about? Well, you can literally trigger your focus by having a routine that encourages you to get to work. So it could be sitting in the same place every day when you work in your business. Maybe the same sounds, maybe the same lighting, the same ritual you have. For me, it seems weird, right? But for me, when I come into my office here, my home office, when I hear the door click shut, that triggers me. I have to not only close the door, but I have to hear the click of the door. When I do that, not only do my family know that I'm in work mode, so they try not to bother me, but I know that door clicks shut. I'm at my computer. I got my to-do list. I'm ready to go. I'm hyper-focused, right? Another little thing. I know when I'm going to work that the lighting has to be a certain way for me. I don't know what it is, but I have a window here. A nice, beautiful view of my palm trees and my 3 acres of land here in Florida. I love looking out it, but it gets very distracting to me when I'm trying to work. And in the morning, if I'm working in the morning, the light comes right in and that sun shines right in my face. So I know if I'm going to work, I do 2 things: close the door, hear the click, close the blinds to the window. So now I'm in work mode. Those are my focus triggers. What are yours? Do you have any? Have you even thought about that? Because if you have things around you that are causing you to be unfocused or distracting you, right? That's a big part of your focus issue. Jeff says, I turn on my big blue lightsaber, and that tells me and family I'm working. That's awesome. I want to see that, Jeff. I want to take a picture of that. That's awesome. All right. Number 6, I call it shrink the entry point. Parentheses, 10-second rule. So sometimes, for whatever reason, it can be really hard to start. Even though You got your triggers. You got your list of things to do for the night before. Sometimes it's just hard to get started, right? Maybe you don't know really exactly how to approach a certain task, or you haven't done it before, so you're uncertain, or it's just hard, right? And by the way, most high impact activities are harder than the low impact activities. That's why we default to the lower ones, the busy work. That's what happens, right? So my shrink the entry point tip is basically making it ridiculously easy to start what you're doing. So sometimes when I'm struggling to start, I will say, you know what? Let me do for 1 minute or even 10 seconds, but I usually use a minute. Let me get to work for a minute and see where I'm at. And I'll force myself to just start working for a minute. And a minute is a ridiculously small piece of time, right? Who can't work for a minute? Well, what I found is that once I start, I keep going, because starting is always the hardest part, right? It's always the hardest part. So make that starting point as ridiculously easy as you can. 10-15 seconds if you're really stuck. Hey, let me work for 15 seconds, right? Let me work for a minute, and let's see where I am after that. And after a minute, let me work for 1 more minute if I'm still struggling. And sometimes I literally go minute to minute until it kicks in, right? And that way it's just easier. It's just easier. Okay. Number 7, a lot of people don't think about this, but it's remove your energy leaks. Focus isn't just about time. It's about your energy. Focus is all about energy. And you got to figure out for you what drains your energy, right? Is it clutter? Is it interruptions? Is it fatigue? Is it negativity? Is it poor sleep? Right? What drains you? Now, me, I am pretty introverted. I would say I'm pretty introverted. I was just having this discussion with my wife. When I'm in a situation where I'm forced to talk to people, I can feel my energy just, right? So if I'm going to work in my business, I don't want to precede it with something that an interaction is going to drain my energy. We had a couple of good friends, not good friends. We're trying to get to know them a little bit. And we had invited them over for lunch over the weekend. Really solid people, really nice. But you know how it is when you don't really know somebody and you know, the girls went out to do something. So I'm sitting talking to this guy, super nice guy. But it was work to talk. I had to think, okay, what am I going to say next? What do I want to ask him that's interesting? You know, the conversation was good, but it took work. And after they left, they were only here for a couple hours, but after they left, I was drained. And my wife's like, what's going on with you? I'm like, when I have to do that, it drains my energy. I'm so introverted that I need to go read a book, or I need to go be by myself for a while to re-energize myself. And it's the same with it. It could be anything for you, right? It could be, you know, like for me, it's being around people I need to talk to, which sounds terrible, I know, but it's my personality. It's what I do. When I do a training like this, right? This isn't so bad because it's only 15 minutes, but if I'm doing like an hour training, I'm wiped out after that. So my energy just gets drained. And I have to refill it. So some people get so energized by that. Kim Ward, I think she gets energized by all that stuff. I think Valerie does too. Hey, Crystal, what's going on? Good to see you. So, you know, it's just different for different people, but figure out what drains your energy and try to avoid it when you're working on your business or right before you're working on your business. The bottom line is protect your energy like your profits depend on it, because it does. It does. And then number 8, and I always include this because I think it's so important. Hey, Genevieve, what's going on? A lot of people coming in today. Good to see all you guys. The final tip, and if you missed these tips, you guys can watch the recording. You can get them all. And Valerie has put them in the comments as well. And number 8 is end every work session with a win. So when you finish something, it releases dopamine, and you get dopamine hit that feels really good, right? It's your brain's reward signal. So I always, when I finish a work session, I always look for the small wins, any wins, right? And it could be, a win could be just, hey, I did my 30 minutes. I did my hour. I worked on my business on things that matter. That's a big win, right? It could be, hey, I made a $7 sale. That's a win. Or, you know what? I had a great conversation with somebody and they're looking at my business. That's a win. You got to celebrate those, right? They're not huge, right? They're not like, oh my God, I just made, $1,000 in a day. That's huge, right? Sometimes the wins are small and that's okay, but you have to celebrate them. Because if you don't, it's almost like, you accomplish something, you move on to the next, move on to the next, move on to the next. I used to be big at that. I would accomplish something, even if it was significant. And my go-to thought was, okay, what's next? Not, hey, great job, you did great, congratulations, or pat yourself on the back, right? None of that. I was like, okay, what's next? Let me get what's next. And eventually what that does to you is burn you out. So there's enough negativity around the internet. There's enough negativity in the world. You have to counter that as much as you can. And one way to do it is just after you're done your work session, give yourself a pat on the back. You did it, right? You did it. And what did you accomplish? Well, I wrote a blog post. I did a video, right? I talked to 3 people who I didn't know. I chatted with them online. I made a phone call that was really hard for me. I did that, right? Celebrate every small win that you do and make it a habit when you're finished your work session, right? Or at the end of the day, count your wins, line them up, celebrate each one. Because you got, like I said, there's so much negativity out there. You have to reward yourself. You have to counter it. And that's all part of the whole focus equation. All right, Val, that's what I got you for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I thought it was some good stuff. I hope it is for you. A lot of new people on today. I haven't seen some people on here before, so that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I I can definitely relate to ending your work session with a win.
Yeah.
I don't do that as much as I know that I should.
I didn't either. I never did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been just like you. It's like, all right, this is done, but then let's move on. So, for example, we're rolling these things out for this community that is growing, and we're just so excited for you guys. And you know, I had to be told to stop. Just hold on a second. Let's celebrate the fact that this portion is done. Let's celebrate the fact that, we're able to give to people. They're enjoying it as well as actually, getting benefit out of it. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that is something. So sometimes you have to, stop and tell yourself or have someone remind you, hey, listen, you accomplished something today. What was that? And
Yeah.
that'll start getting you into that mode. I mean, it's just like Bob described. It is so important to do that.
So I have another question for you, because I was thinking about you when I was talking about it. What drains your energy?
What drains my energy? Yeah, definitely pouring out into others can be draining. So I have a interesting balance with that. It feels good as I'm doing it. It feels good to be able to connect with people. It feels good to be able to share some of the things that I know in my experience. But at the end of it, I'm like, oh, that was a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could totally relate to feeling drained after, like a webinar or a coaching session or what have you. Yeah.
It's I had a really brilliant idea that was, in retrospect, the worst thing I could do for my own personality. I decided, you know what? I'm going to do all my coaching in one day.
Oh,
And I'm going to set them back to back to back to back to back.
I've done that.
Because then I had the rest of the week to do what I want to do, right?
Yeah.
Well, by the end of the 6th, 7th, 8th session, I was a basket case. My energy was so low. I was actually doing them a disservice. So
Mhm.
I just don't do that anymore. But
Yeah.
sometimes something sounds like a great idea, but you got to know yourself.
Yeah. Yep. Same for me. I thought that would work for me because other things, yeah, I can do back to back. Like my husband was just saying the other day, he's like, you can sit there in front of that computer and work on these scripts and work on these posts and work on the, structuring what the next thing is that you want to do. And I can't sit there that long. So I figured, well, if I can sit in front of the computer and get back to back tasks done, why not the coaching too? No, that was a mistake.
Different animal for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because of that connection and that interaction with people, I think it's really important. And I like to spend my time with people in the moment. Like I like to be present. I want you to know that you have my attention and that I'm seeking out of this a connection that actually has an effect in some way, that it's going to, we'll both be able to walk away from it where you can say, well, that was one little, uh, exchange, but it was so significant.
Right.
Like that's what I like to see. So yeah, that can be draining because you have your focus, your energy, and your attention, on that person versus, with tasks, it's kind of like, well, you don't know if I'm paying attention or not. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right. Well,
Cool.
thank you so much, Bob.
You're
I
welcome.
so appreciate it. So you guys listen, you see that? I hope Bob has been able to just help you feel like you can take a nice deep breath. Okay. Because you see, you were never lazy. You were just trying to do everything at once, which both Dr. Bob and Val can relate to. Okay. So when you focus your energy on the right things, everything starts to move faster, move better, and you can actually get to enjoy the process again. All right. So inside the Profitpreneur membership, we will help you to gain the clarity and the strategy and the systems to stay focused on what really moves your business forward without having to deal with that burnout and that stress. Okay. So go ahead. You'll see in the description box, you should see Bob's link and start your 14-day free trial. 2 whole weeks of being able to not even have to pull out your credit card, but start feeling the experience now. Because it's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. And we're definitely here to help you do it and to cheer you on as you do it. So thank you guys so much for hanging with us. Be back here, same time tomorrow, same channel for another episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.